everybody. I'm here today with Cheryl Thornton, who is currently training to be a coach with us on our coaching qualifications. So, another opportunity for you all to hear from people that are currently undertaking the training, what the experience is like and what their personal journey has been. So, Cheryl, thanks for joining me today. Can you tell people a little bit about you and where you were when you started to think about training to be a coach, and
Yeah.
how you where you are now?
Yeah. Hi. Thanks for having me as well today. So back in March last year was when I started the course, but prior to that, I was in HR and I worked in a lot of sort of startups and SMEs. And I just was doing a lot of coaching and didn't really realize that that's what I was doing day to day. And I thought I really get a buzz from helping others, supporting others, seeing them become, their best self, sort of stepping into that. And I thought, why am I not doing this? What do I need to learn to get more about this? And I think I quickly learned that there isn't really, the governing kind of body to it at all. And I thought I need that credibility. That's really important to me. So I started to sort of look around and see what it was about. And I think it was on Facebook or LinkedIn that you had a masterclass. And I think the beauty of that was, and I think it was about 6 months, might have been 4 or 6 months before the course started, that I joined the masterclass. And we did the Wheel of Life. And that was really powerful for me, that model, in terms of looking at, well, how is life now? And where am I feeling fulfilled, and where do I need more? And that really directed me to say, look, come on, you need to learn more about this and become a coach. I think that's the path for you. So for me, I didn't do a lot of research beyond that, because I think I joined the masterclass with you and Zoe, and you really aligned, it really resonated with me, a lot of things you talked about, and it felt really real. So I then thought, right, well, this is it. I'm gonna leap. And I did. But we had a really good conversation. I don't know if you remember, we had a call.
I do, now that you've said it. I do remember being at the masterclass.
Yeah, so we had a chat as well, and I think that really helped me just sort of understand your journey a little bit more and relate to that. And then and the fact I could do a payment plan. I think that's a big thing that I want to mention, because I think that's really important, because for me, that monthly amount rather than a big chunk up front was helpful. So signed up and started in March, nearly a year ago.
And so self-funded.
Yeah.
So there's pretty even split for us, actually, between those that self-fund and those that are funded by their organisation. And some people are funded for the level 5, and then they pay for the top up themselves, because once they start, they're like, I want to do the full, I want to go as high as I possibly can. And the payment plans begin when somebody books their place, and then it's evenly spread payments over a 12-month period. And that's because we do want to make the coaching training qualification accessible to as many people as possible, and it doesn't matter what is best for you.
So it certainly helped. It helped me just sort of knowing that.
And then you've got to think about your what you're going to do after the coaching training, and what you choose to invest in after that, because when you start to train as a coach, you're really committing to lifelong learning at that same point too. So if learning is one of your values, then coaching is a great place to be. So came to a masterclass, and it just felt really aligned to your approach and our stories, our background in HR, and what we've done, and how we forged our new careers in coaching, and how much we get from it and love giving to it. So you started in March, and so tell people about your experience, because you've completed all of your facilitated sessions, and you're undertaking your coaching practice hours now.
Yes. So the first decision, I guess, just back a step, was whether I did the 5 or the 7. And I think originally I was thinking the 5, and I think having had a conversation with you and thinking about my future and the clients and the level that I wanted to go to, and also the supervision piece as well, I then made the decision to actually join and start level 7 from the outset. So I'm really, really pleased that I did that, because I think I was playing small for me. It was safe. So I'm really pleased that I made that push. And then started in March. Yes, I did all the sessions, did all the work on the platform that you have, which is always really useful. I still tap into it now. I still look at models now. I still listen to the videos to kind of remind myself, because there's a lot of information, but it's good that that's always there. You always got that kind of buffer and that support behind you. And I guess the real eye-opener that I hadn't even factored in was the support from the cohort. They're amazing. You know, the sort of, we're all different, but it's great because it really enriches the conversations. And when we do our practices, it felt, to start with, it felt uncomfortable because you're just doing something so new. But very soon I realized that nobody was, you know, everybody was in the same boat. There was no judgment, and it was just a learning safe space. So I really valued that every Tuesday. And at the time always went so quickly, because it's what, an hour and a half, isn't it? And I was always thinking that's
2.5 hours, but it feels
like 2.5.
Yeah.
So yeah, it always felt like it wasn't enough because it just went so fast. And yeah, I just have really enjoyed that part of it, and it carries on. So even when you are not doing those regular weekly sessions, we've carried on as kind of a triad group to support each other. We've carried on that to help coach one another, but also wider than that, you know, kind of on WhatsApp, we all support each other if there's something we're doing or have a question, or we use the Coaching Crowd lounge as well. So yeah, it's been great. Far more than I ever expected or dreamed of, really.
And what about, like, were there weeks where you felt like, oh, I don't know, I don't know if I've got this, and like, what was your emotional experience of the course, you know, actually coming together in those group sessions?
Yeah, so there were definitely you definitely find there are models that really connect with you and things that you're doing that really connect. And I think, listen to that, you know, anybody that does sign up, notice that. And there are definitely times that you think this isn't quite gelling, you know, what was it about that session? And sometimes it would just feel overwhelming, particularly if you hadn't had an opportunity to do the pre-work.
Definitely feel that way then.
You know, it happens, doesn't it? Life happens, and you don't always get a chance. But I think I got used to just sort of putting it out there, and I'd say, I've not had a chance to do this, and everyone's like, oh, well, I haven't done it either, or yes, I've done it, I'll help you, I'll give you a bit of a background on it. So yeah, sometimes it was tricky just sort of fitting it in. I have 2 teenagers, life and everything else, but pretty soon you get into a pattern. That's what I noticed. Is I used to do it on a Sunday. I think, right, I'm going to have some time, I'll carve out, that's when I'm going to look at it, ready for when we meet on Tuesday night. So you get into a rhythm with it.
And it is a layering process, because like anything, you know, when you actually learn it or introduce to it for the first time, only a small proportion of it really goes in that first time round, and that's why you then do the practice. So that's the layer number 2, and then you have your triad or your duo practice. That's layer number 3, and then again you practice it with your coaching practice clients. And you had an epiphany, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So yeah, so in November, I decided that at the end of November, I left my job and decided, this is it. I'm gonna do this full time. You know, so I'm all in. You know, I'm committed, and I felt like it had been calling me for a long time, and I hadn't been listening. And I do think the universe kind of puts these signs out there for you, and you know, suddenly think, yeah, I need to take notice of that. So yeah, I started my own business in December, and alongside kind of doing assignments and everything else, and practice clients, but also paying clients as well, and some HR consultancy in there as well. So it's been a very steep learning curve, but I'm absolutely loving it. I'm loving that side of it, the learning.
You're in our business lounge, aren't you, as well?
Yeah.
How's that been for you?
That is so helpful to have those, to be able to look back and, you know, the videos of people that have come on and taught, that you've had in talking about things, but also recent ones. I tend to try and join live, because I just feel like, you know, if you've got any questions, you can add to them in the moment. So the LinkedIn session, you've got your finance accounting one coming out that I've signed up to as well, and just being part of that group. So I think I did my first video, that I uploaded before doing one to LinkedIn, and it just felt like a nice community and a safe space to test it out. And then you get that wonderful feedback. Everybody's very supportive, and but also will say, have you thought about this, or just notice this? And that's helpful too.
I think it's everything from the basics that often people are frightened to ask, because you kind of, when you've been an expert in your own field, to go back to being, a novice in a new field, or with it from a marketing perspective, that can feel de-skilling. It can affect your motivation and mindset. But actually, in that group, you can ask everything from the basic, and we cover things up to the more advanced. And you can join and dip in when and as you want to. When you joined the program, we didn't even have the business lounge at that point.
No,
that's something that we launched in June, and we have now wrapped that into the coaching qualification, so that people join the level 5, they get 6 months access. If they join the level 7, then they get 12 months access, and of course they can choose to continue beyond that, because a lot of people that do the coaching training are thinking about coaching as a potential exit strategy in the short, the medium, or the long term. For you, it was short, it was imminent, it was happening. But others are using it in an in-house role. But actually, there's a lot of marketing elements of coaching that relate to how you introduce a coaching culture into an organization. And you do need to be visible with it. You do need to be able to tell the stories and add value and share value in order to be able to take people on that journey with you. So your business is your business name, isn't it?
It is, which is there. But Cheryl Thornton Consultancy and Coaching. So you can find me on LinkedIn, and I will be doing website, and that will all come as part of it. But so early days for me at the moment, but really, really delighted with kind of being able to put things out there to support people, because I think that's a big part of it for me. It's not just it's about adding that value to people, being able to just sort of something in their day that goes, that I've been thinking about that, or that really resonates with me, or that's really helped me, or that's really unlocked something for me. If it just does that, then that means a lot as well. So but hopefully it will also lead on to bigger and better things as well. So it's overwhelming. I think I said that before. It's overwhelming some days, but it's the energy I get from it as well, and just sort of people feeding back, and when someone sort of says, I listened to that, and that really resonated with me and made a difference, and that means an awful lot, which I think you find that with as well, Jo, don't you, when you do your podcasts, and kind of that feedback that you get.
Yeah, well, it's not. I don't want coaching to be a well-kept secret or the best-kept secret, because actually there's so many tools and techniques that can be so useful to everybody. So I think the more that we can help to, pass that information on, help people to have different insights, to be able to, give the feeling of emotional stability, understanding how your brain works, and helping to feel more in control of the things you're doing, and creating those goals that are achievable, and so much more. For me, is really important that we make it as accessible as possible. But I think anybody watching today, or watching this at a later time, will be able to see like the coaching you, like the tone of voice, the warmth that you have, and I think you're a great fit for us and our coaching training, because there's so many overlaps in our style and our purpose around coaching. So, and your story is so relatable. So many people that come and train with us have got similar, obviously my background is HR as well, and so many of the reasons why people go into HR are relevant to actually what you want to do as a coach. So if you get to that point where you think, I just don't want to be doing the reorganizations and the disciplinaries, job evaluation, and all the legal side of it, actually what I really love is time with people, making that difference, enabling them to be heard, helping them to feel empowered. Then coaching's like all the best bits. That's how I look at it.
It's a cream, isn't it, on the top of the milk? That's how I think of it. It's and I guess we've talked a little bit about the practicalities of the course, but actually taking away from that is I never realised how much of a journey I'd have. And really, you know, you touching on the fact that just understanding your emotions, and that's been a massive learning for me, because I was always aware of it. I had quite good self-awareness, but suddenly I was like, this is where this is coming up for me. You know, this is what's driving that thought or that feeling, and I can turn that on its head. I can make that a positive, and I know where that's coming from just by being able to name it and sort of say, I know where that belief's coming from. I can, you know, and I can challenge that. Has made me so much more confident and so much more sure in myself, and just decisions get easier and everything gets easier. You're not overthinking everything. So yeah, if I can pass a small piece of that on to people and make that easier every day for them, then yeah, that's a big plus for me.
And I think my takeaway from our conversation that gave me goosebumps when you said it was when you talked about it had been caught this desire to train to be a coach, or to go into this field, had been calling you for a long time and you hadn't been listening, and then you decided to listen, and it's taken you on this pathway. It's increased your confidence, you know, you've made bold decision, you're investing in yourself, and it's bringing you joy and happiness, and it's stretchy because you're doing, you know, there's elements to running a coaching business that it's not just the coaching, it's also about the visibility piece, but that's how, you know, people need to know that you exist in order to be able to know whether you're a great fit for them. So, you know, reach out to Cheryl. Maybe she sounds like a good fit for you in terms of working with her as your coach. I'm sure she'd be happy for you to connect with her if you're interested in chatting about, you know, more about the experience to train to be a coach. And we'll wait for the website, and, you know, keep an eye on Cheryl's content. Thank you so much for joining me, Cheryl. And if you are interested in joining our training program, you can see in the ticker along the bottom of the screen, you can visit our website, igcompany.co.uk, and you'll see that there's an option for coach training, and you can book your place on the course. See you all
today.
soon.
See you.
Thank you.